Let's talk about should statements, shall we? If you find yourself saying I should have done this, or I should be doing this, and it's a constant internal dialogue that you hear, it's more than likely contributing to your confidence and self-belief. Should statements can be incredibly toxic, and oftentimes they're not serving us. They're not useful. People use them to motivate themselves, to think about all the ways that they could be better, but there's much more effective ways to do that, and eliminating should statements from your dialogue as well as from your internal dialogue can be really powerful. So I want to run you through a replacement for should statements, what to do, how to approach it, and I think it'll be really helpful in building or rebuilding your self-belief and self-confidence. So there's a 3-step process to this approach. So if you find yourself, for example, thinking about, oh, I should have been more visible in that meeting, I should have told my manager what I think about this, this, and this, you can have a different approach. Or I should be working on my relationship with my manager because it's not as good as I want it to be. There are 3 things that you can do. Step 1 is assess the situation of where you are today. What is the situation you're in? What is your relationship with your manager, if we're going to use that example? Step 2, think about where you want to be. And I would encourage you to not think about a long-term where you want to be, but really think about a short-term of where you want to be. At the end of this week, at the end of this month, at the end of this day, where do you want to be with relation to this situation? And step 3, make a plan for yourself of what you're going to commit to doing. And instead of saying in that plan, I should do X, Y, and Z, say the statement, what I commit to doing is blah, 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 or A, B, C, D. So again, make sure that in step 3, you're not saying I should do X, Y, and Z, because the should leaves room for maybe you'll do it, maybe you won't, but really say I'm committing to. Now, the very important part of step 3 is that whatever it is you're committing to has to be rooted in reality and has to be something that you realistically can achieve. So for example, don't overcommit. And don't come up with something that you're not likely to do or it's not going to be possible for you to do. So if you commit to having a conversation on a daily basis with your manager and that's not realistic, then don't make that commitment. Make a commitment that's realistic. Another great example is more of a health example. So for example, I really like to think about my health and focus on working out on a regular basis. And I'm going to be very honest with you, especially in quarantine with 3 kids and remote schooling. There's an example. Honey, give me 1 second, please. I'm doing a video. Thank you. There was a great example of me trying to do a lot in one time, but especially with remote schooling and work and clients and quarantine and the millions of things that we're all going through, it's very hard to achieve as much as maybe you were even able to do 6 months ago. So being realistic, and the commitment that I make to myself now is, as long as I move my body on a regular basis, commitment of 15 minutes, 20 minutes, instead of the commitment I would have made to myself a year ago of an hour at the gym or a yoga flow for 45 minutes, is going to have to be good enough. And when I achieve the commitment of those 20 minutes of movement, I feel great about myself. I'm much more motivated to keep going. And when I don't achieve that, then I feel bad about myself. And it's much easier to achieve something that is much more likely is a short 15 minutes. And the 4th step is practice this daily. Just doing this once is not going to be enough. You have to get in the habit of changing the way you think about things, changing the internal dialogue that you have, turning off the shoulds and turning them into commitments for yourself that you can then reflect on and feel good about is very, very powerful. So go ahead and try it and let me know how it goes. Have a great day.